Before we preview our Cowboys versus Texans Monday Night Football matchup, good old Jeremy Chuggs is the host over at Texans Today. This is your chance to troll Jeremy. We'll have some fun in-game things to troll him as well this week. Everyone type in F Chuggs in the comments. Do it all as one word so YouTube doesn't get mad at you. F Chuggs in the comments section. Cowboys are heavy underdogs this week. 7.5-point favorites as of filming this Thursday night. Over-under, similar to last week, 42.5. The Texans, statistically, are a little bit more of a league average-ish team. 17th in scoring offense, 19th in points per game. Score in points per game allowed. They have real issues. And much like Philadelphia last week, if your season hadn't completely fallen apart already, there's a real chance you would have been favored in this game. You were the early favorite, by the way, going in against Philadelphia. That changed quite quickly after Dak Prescott got hurt, but this would have been a winnable matchup. It doesn't feel very winnable right now, however. Some injuries to monitor throughout this week. Tyler Smith was set to practice on Wednesday despite his knee being wrapped, so we'll keep an eye on that front. Hunter Luepke has been banged up. Zack Martin, Eric Kendricks, and Nick Vigil have been banged up all year. Luepke did not practice on Wednesday nor Thursday, which is I hate because I want to play my young guys, and he's one of the young guys I want to play. Jourdan Lewis has been a bit nicked up. Trevon Diggs, I think, will be able to go. Sounds like Tyler Guyton will make his return to the football field. Hopefully Richards remains your swing tackle. I thought he did a good job against Philadelphia. And DaRon Bland also doesn't sound like he's going to be back. So that's not good. Over in Houston, Kamari Lassiter in concussion protocol. We'll see when he gets cleared. Will Anderson did not practice on Thursday. That'd be a big-time loss for Houston. That is the young superstar dynamic pass rusher who's been so good for Houston. But he's nicked up. They still have Daniel Hunter at least. Damian Pierce making his return. Also sounds like most impactfully, Nico Collins is going to make his return after missing a bunch of time with his own injury for Houston. Let's talk keys to victory or defeat if you don't want to win. Then you want the opposite of these things. Number one is very obvious. You have to have better quarterback play. It is basically impossible to win football games in the NFL, in the modern NFL and not going back to like the 1960s and stuff, when you go 13 of 24 for 45 yards and you fumble twice, especially in your own end. That's just not – that's non-viable quarterback play. For every position outside of – not probably every position, you have to have a certain threshold to reach. And if you don't reach that threshold – doesn't matter how good the rest of it is around you, it's not going to work. And that did not remotely meet the threshold. You got to get something a lot better out of Cooper Rush. And as we'll get into, your coaching staff, Big Mike, has to be a heck of a lot better. Who you got in this one? I think I know how the majority are going to vote, and I agree with you. C for the Cowboys, T for the Texans. It is the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. C for the Cowboys, T for the Texans. Number two, key to victory. It's funny how it's flipped from 3 weeks ago, whatever. Your defense has to carry you. It has to. It has to be significantly better than what it has been previously, and more what you did see, by the way, in the first half against Philadelphia. The Cowboys' defense did its job until the game was just too much for them to deal with the offense being as bad as it was. They played well early. Mike Zimmer's been trying a lot of different things. Sometimes it does work. Sometimes it does not work. The numbers got better outside of the rush defense because it got out of hand again last week from previous weeks. So progress is being made, but you still need basically your A-plus game from your defense to be competitive with the way the offense is playing right now. Now, of note, expect Houston to try to run the football a lot. They have not run the ball very effectively this year. In fact, they're actually less successful from a down-to-down basis than even you are with the ground game. They have not run the ball effectively this year. Their offensive line is a huge factor in that. They have not done a great job run blocking. They are allowing the third most pressure rate in football this year. They have gotten cooked a lot and on a pretty consistent basis. I expect them to try to run the football. They will try to establish that as what Bobby Slowick likes to do. I think the return of Nico Collins is going to be a big boost to that defense. We'll talk about him later on. But your defense, unlike pretty much every other matchup, your pass rush, if they can get into a position to actually get after the quarterback, they have some advantages there. Today's Cowboys Report is brought to you by Ollie. Clean, fresh nutrition for your dog in 5 flavors they will absolutely love. Right now, Ollie's offering a fantastic deal to let your pup taste test, a personalized meal plan. Get 60% off your first box of meals when you use promo code CHATSPORTS at ollie.com. Here's how it works. You fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz, and they create a customized meal plan. They then crunch the numbers and recommend the right recipes and daily proportions for your pup. For any first-timers, Ollie will send out your first pup's box with 2 weeks' worth of meals and a guide how to gradually switch them over to their new diet. They offer 3 meal plans to choose from, so you can choose between a full fresh plan, fresh topper plan, or a mixed plan with their freshly baked recipes. My dog Finn is a big fan of it, with myself, my wife both working, and my almost now 3-year-old daughter Olivia running around. He needs the energy to survive, basically. Head to ollie.com, at least thrive maybe. Tell them about your dog and use code CHATSPORTS or get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. That's OLLIE.com and enter code CHATSPORTS to get 60% off your first box. There's a clean bowl guarantee on their first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you get your money back. Number 3, key to victory, let Rico run. I was very surprised to see the national media freak out over McCarthy saying Rico Dowdle is the lead back and that was somehow new information. It's not. He's been the lead back outside of when he was sick week 1 and when Zeke complained about his role before the Lions game all year. He has been the number 1 back in touches and snaps by a pretty solid basis, actually. He's been getting over 50% of them more frequently. This is not a surprise. What you do need to see is him probably touch it more, not just play more. I will give a little bit of credit here. I have seen changes in the ground game. You might have noticed the Cowboys trying out some more pistol looks. That was a new implementation. But McCarthy hasn't really tried to run the football. In his last 4 games, Rico Dowdle's averaging 4.9 yards per carry. That's really friggin' good. But it's on only 12 carries a game. You have a backup quarterback in. You continuously, as we'll get to here, seemingly freak out about your offensive line every chance you get. You have to try to run the football a little bit more. This is a different conversation than, we don't want the quarterback to have to lean so much on the ground game. Quarterback's not very good right now. You should try to run the ball a little bit more. Now, we will be live for the Cowboys and the Texans matchup this week. Hit that sub button. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV for more free Cowboys YouTube videos. Number 4, and this is probably not going to happen, and it's a big reason why I want Mike McCarthy fired when the year is over. Get a real offensive design and game plan. I acknowledge this probably isn't possible to suddenly do it. They've made some changes, like I mentioned, in the ground game. They have not made changes in the passing game. And Cooper Rush was bad. It was not all his fault. McCarthy's passing game, his schematics, his game plan, it sucks right now. It does not feature anything pushing the ball downfield. It feels like this coaching staff is terrified of the offensive line, but it borders on phobia, where it's probably a little bit unrealistic. And I think what has happened, dating back to before Dak got hurt too, everything seems sped up and short, and it feels, and the lack of confidence behind the O-line, you can kind of feel it with the way some of the footwork is, especially with Dak, I think, too. It's trickled down to the players, where if you get hammered all week long saying, our O-line's not good enough, our O-line's not good enough, it's not good enough, that's going to impact how you play and what your trust level is in the offensive line. The passing game plan was about the same as it was against Philadelphia and Atlanta. That made no sense to me. Like, you have a new quarterback and you got to try different things. You have to utilize him differently. You have to maybe lean on your ground game a little bit more. This passing offense feels wildly outdated, and that's a failure of your coaching staff. It got good after the bye week because certain key members of your players in the organization kind of complained and got McCarthy to make changes. And then this year, the head coach fighting for his job said, I'm going to do what I want to do. And the results speak for themselves on the field. So what is your confidence level right now in Mike McCarthy? I will give you the option of 0. Let me know in the comments what your confidence level is in Mike McCarthy. Number 5, this is barely even a key to victory. I just want to see your young guys make some plays. And that's a variety of pieces for you at wide receiver, at tight end, Doubtful, defensively with DeMarvion Overshown, etc. It is about 2025 and beyond. It is not about winning games. The 2024 season is cooked. It's not going to work out for you. It's over. It's done. You're not going to keep your job, Mike. Sorry. I want to see the young guys make some plays. I want to have something to build upon, even with a new coaching staff coming in next year, we all assume. So that's not even really a key to victory, but it is what I'm going to be hammering all season long. I'll get to my score prediction here in just a second. So if you haven't already, get your score predictions in for me in the comment section of today's video. I think this is probably going to be a bit more of a Texans home game. Plenty of Texans fans in Dallas. They'll travel up for the game. It's a primetime game. I think there will be more of a pro-Texans crowd than more of a pro-Cowboys crowd, which has happened before at Jerry World. I think you will hang. I think your defense will show up. I think they'll make some plays for you. Your offense can really only be better this week. I think you will hang around a little bit. Eventually, I think you'll be out-talented. You will be out-coached as well because Houston is better coached and they've got a way better quarterback and mostly better roster talent as well. So my score prediction. I got Houston winning and covering, for those of you who care. Final score, 24-13.